Let me do a temperature check. How are you guys doing? Give me a thumbs up, give me some hearts, give me some emotions so that I know that I'm on track. If you have questions, I need to get those questions, because what I don't want you to do is to get off the call, off the training today, and you have, now I'll tell you this, if you have additional questions, then Trace is coming back, on the 30th, and he's going to talk to you more about that. However, but I don't want you to leave today, with thoughts in your head. So I saw thumbs up. I didn't see a lot of them. I saw thumbs up and hearts and all that. So I appreciate you guys for that. Thank you so much. We would have taken a break, but let's get through this. So this is, remember I talked about all of this. So the risk and protective factor. Remember I told you that when we first start doing this work, and as you do prevention work, it's comprehensive, right? And so this is an image of the risk and protective factors and where they rest or where they land. So you have community. One example is more than, these are just examples of them, but one example of a risk factor is in the community. Community use messages and community anti-ATLD use messages in the media. That's a factor in the community. That's a protective factor. Then you have in the school protective factor has, high expectations, rewards for positive performance. That's a protective factor. Then in the family, a protective factor is family attitudes about antisocial behaviors. That's a protective factor. What does that mean? Antisocial behaviors in the family. That means that mom and dad has set young person down and said, okay, this is what I need you to know about alcohol, tobacco, other drugs, or other things, other high risk things in communities. And hey, these are the things that I want you to know. There's some conversation about that, but there's some family bonding. There's some clear expectations. There's some rewards. And you see how the arrows say, this goes across, but then you have, in purple community, but then we break down to the individual and the peers. They're in the same little sphere, right? The same domain. That means that the individual as well as their peers have a positive attitude about ATLDs, right? Antisocial behaviors, social competency, and peer group norms, right? So in there, the attitudes about ATLDs could be positive. That would be a risk factor. And then we're building out from the family, the school, community, all of these different protective factors that will influence the risk factor of that individual. Okay. I don't have the proper competency skills as in my social environment, right? That's why we teach life skills and all of that. That's a risk factor. We say, okay, if they don't have those skills, that's a risk factor. And then we're building them. The family is building them. The school is building them. The community is building them. Comprehensive approaches to the work that we do in prevention. We don't work in silos. We work collectively together, and we do this work together. I'll send you that list as well. So this is a definition more about the risk and protective factors, the strengths about them. Risk and protective factors exist in multiple contexts. They're correlated and cumulative. They have multiple outcomes, and then it has some influence over time. So that's just one point about the risk and protective factors. This is just a little more information and research about the protective factors, the risk and protective factors. It just says, it highlights what I've been saying so far, because people have relationships within their communities as well as the larger society. Each person's biological and psychological characteristics, they exist within multiple contexts. We know that. I just don't live in this house, right? I live in a community, which influences me, which I live in this society, which influences me. And so we're saying we have to have impact multiple. Targeting only one context when addressing a person's risk or protective factor is unlikely to be successful because people don't exist in isolation.